how do you access? Or, like if you think about currently your system, the lease data is actually in the property management application. If you guys using Tango or, LeaseCake or, any of these platforms, Lucernex, any of them. And by the way, all of them are our friends and our partners that we work with them pretty closely. The data is there. Visually, so the data is there. Okay. The first thing is, how do you make that data accessible that if there are other stakeholders within the organization, if they need to have access to the data? Again, going back to with the proper security guardrails. Now, access to this data within common language. Say at the bottom of the screen, you see that, can you please provide the list of leases which are expiring in 2024? That is very simple. You can say, show me all the leases where the tenants live in Pittsburgh. Show me leases where all the tenants are closer to the city of Bridges. Now, the city of Bridges is Pittsburgh. only the LLM will know that, yes, in the US, the city of Bridges is in Pittsburgh. Find all the tenants that are actually in Pittsburgh. Do you see that how the technology can take your data and correlate to what is there in the public domain? And again, so using technology where you can actually search on a particular lease or all leases. So you can actually, this is the very common use case with the LLM. So where you can actually analyze the data and you can use this for predictive analysis. Show me the leases where do you see the possibility that a tenant is not going to pay or not paying, or there's a possibility there's a risk. So because you can look at the late fees, and again, it only will do the action if the data is available to the system.
Right.
And again, going back to the point I made, security guardrails, compliance in place.
Yep.
So work with the vendor, work with the property management, at least admin firm that has these plugins that sits on top of your data and gives you something at Rebo that we can work with our partner data, like coming from the lease admin applications, import that, give you the security compliance, and you can make that easily accessible to everybody in your organization within the intranet. That if the CFO wants to have access to the data, CEO wants it, or anybody else wants it, you can make that available to your tenants. If they want to query some basic data about the lease, you can stop. They say they should not have access to certain pieces of data. Okay. If you are a lessee, you can have, and again, depending upon, franchise, owner and a franchise, you want your franchisees to have access to certain lease data. You have thousands of franchisees. You can make that available to them. That way you don't have to respond to, some data that you can make it easily available within the security guardrails in place. That's the beauty of, the OpenAI, this LLM, this AI, what we see today. Now, you can take this data, you can say, hey, plot it on a map. Okay. So you can actually take this data and plot and say, hey, show me on a map. Show me all my tenants. Okay, do it in a grid view, do it in a map view. Okay, endless opportunities and possibilities. See, that's really the beauty of the whole thing. Okay, any question on this, Megan?
I would say, so if someone wanted to integrate this type of thing or, this plugin with their existing lease administration platform or process, because they already have one in place, how would they go about doing this? Like, what would that look like essentially for them?
If they're working with the current lease admin platforms, then they need to have something like this available.
Yes.
So so it's pretty simple. Depends if the current lease admin platform, if the data could be exported in real time, even as a part of Excel documents. So again, what could be fed in, like a tool like ours, the data could be fed in as an Excel or a real time data, and so lease data, lease files, and that could be updated daily, weekly, or every 2 hours, 3 hours, how often you update your data. So that could be either a lot of times. This has been already integrated. They have some, our partners already have some of the tools in place, and already as part of they have added enhanced functionality. If your current platform does not have it, please, we can work with, or anybody, not just Rebo, but anybody who is providing this kind of service can ingest that data in real time, or we can ingest the data in batches on a daily basis and make that available. Now, the nice thing is what you see on the screen could be offered as a Chrome plugin. Okay, at a Gmail Chrome plugin, it sits on a browser. You can click on it. Obviously, if the person is authenticated, knows exactly who you are within the company, and knows exactly what leases you should have access to and what lease data you should not have access to. Again, going back to the privacy and security guardrails in place.